Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Brandy and I am back with another video. I am here to wrap up the month of July. Yeah, I had a very good reading month. Like, I was outside and I read tons of books this month, so I want to come and talk to y'all about them because why not? So this month I actually read 12 books, and before y'all be like, wow, she read 12 books, 3 of them were novellas, okay? 3 of them were novellas, and if we just combine those 3, then that's just one book. But because they're 3 different stories, we're just gonna call them 3 different books. So yes, 12. So out of the 12 books, 4 were physical, 5 were ebooks, and 3 were audiobooks. What I can say is Libby was fair for the month of July. She was not just throwing them at me, and I'm so happy because I have a whole physical TBR that I need to get through, specifically a summer TBR. So the first book I read this month, it was actually an audiobook, and y'all, now what I can say, Libby was very toxic with this one because I forgot all about this book. I read Give Me a Reason, which is book number 3 in the Heart of the Valentine series by Stephanie Nicole Norris. And I put this book on hold a year ago. A year ago. How do I know it was a year ago? Because it was a year ago when I listened to book number 2. And they didn't have the rest of the books. So of course I did a tag, like, you know how you can go into Libby and put in a tag to notify you when the library gets the books? I was like, what the heck? And not only did Libby get book number 3, Libby got all the books. And y'all, let me make sure I get this number correct. There are 16 books in this series. 16. And though I am a series girl, this is just not one of those series that I'm going to continue to read like continuously. It's going to be a passive series for me because if I didn't read them as they were released, it's likely I'm not reading 16 books back to back. And really quick, let's talk about this lighting. So it's getting ready to storm, which is perfect weather for today. And you guys will see it get a little dark in here. So let's just hurry up and finish this video. So I did this audiobook on the Libby app. And if you guys have not read any books from this series, please do. If you are I guess you can say urban fiction romance type of girl, not heavy on the urban. Let's just say black romance, because I wouldn't consider this super urban. But the Valentine brothers, ain't nothing better than the Valentine brothers to me. Ain't nothing better. When I say they wine and dine their women, yes, they wine and dine their women. So, ooh, it's getting ready to thunder. I gave this book a 4-star rating. I really, really loved it. It's short. I don't remember. I know it's less than 8 hours, so it's short. I was able to listen to it while I was at work. It had me intrigued from the very beginning, like all of her books usually does, and it was just a good time. So the next book that I read, it was actually an ebook, and I borrowed it from KU. It was the Mixtape by Brittany Cherry, and y'all, this was my first book by Brittany Cherry, and it definitely will not be my last. I loved it so much. The title, the cover, the meaning of the title, like, it was amazing. It was so amazing. I ate the book up in less than 48 hours. And let me tell you, I picked this book up to prevent myself from getting into a reading slump. And when I say it definitely helped, it helped. It was so good, so intriguing. Highly recommend the book. Of course, if I'm raving about this book like this, it was a 5-star. I cannot wait to get into more of Brittany Cherry's books because this one, it was just amazing. Like, it was just so amazing. If you have not read it and you love romance, go pick the book up and read it. And y'all already heard my rant about this one. It's The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. I'm not gonna go into detail about how I felt about the book because if you watched one of my previous vlogs, I already talked about it. All I gotta say is, Frida, you should have never made me read 40 chapters before the book started getting good, okay? Yeah. And personally, the book really changed my whole attitude. I was like, you know what? I'm finna wrap up the rest of Frida McFadden's books and I'm finna move on to someone else because she really disappointed me. Once we got to chapter 40, it was good all the way up into the epilogue. The epilogue was kind of like, what? It kind of summed up the title. But yeah, nonetheless, I gave it a 3-star only because the ending and the epilogue. Because if it didn't pick up in chapter 40, it was gonna be a DNF. So the next book that I read this month was Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. And I loved it so much. I seen people raving about the book so much on social media. And it was months ago, I put it on hold on Libby. I'm like, let's just try it out because I am on a quest of looking for new authors that I have no clue about. And I really liked it. I love the podcast element. It was a very funny read. I was able to listen to it while I was at work. Love the grandma in this book. Grandma was super funny. She was so freaking funny. Like, she literally carried the book for me. I went back to see if Amy had any other books that were like rated 4 stars or above, and I really didn't see anything else. I was very anxious to check out more from her catalog, but I didn't see anything else. But if you feel like Amy has some other books that maybe I should try out, let me know down in the comments. I gave this book a 4 stars. Like, it was really good. It was good. And I tried to make her an auto read author, but I couldn't find another book that was as intriguing as this one was. So the next 2 books I read were actually physical copies. And the first one was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And then the next one is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Now, I'm mentioning both of them at the same time, back to back, because I don't want to go into full details, because I actually have a video coming out with full details about how I felt about these 2 books. So just wait for the spill on that. What I can say is I read both of them in preparation for the movie It Ends With Us that is coming out, which is another reason why I'm not going into heavy details about the book. Let's just say I loved them, and let's just say I rated them both 4 stars. So the next book that I read, now mind you, after Freedom McFadden had pissed me off with The Housemaid Is Watching, I was like, y'all, I need a thriller author, preferably a Black thriller author, because I don't have many Black thriller authors on my shelf. So let's start from the basics. Throw me your thriller authors. Nobody was really throwing me the thriller authors at the time that I needed them, because I even asked like over on Bookstagram. Now I know on BookTube it was kind of late, but on Bookstagram nobody was really throwing me their thriller authors like that. Like, they were, but it was kind of late. So I had picked up a book on my own, and it was one that I seen frequently because, like I said, I just signed up for KU. And of course, you gonna see all the new releases and all of that on KU. And it is called Bad Influence by Brandon Massey. Now, I have been seeing this book, being heavily talked about before it was released. So I was like, this looks intriguing. I really, really want to read it. It's a psychological thriller, so that's my jam. And this book was different for me. Like, when I say different, I'm talking about in writing style. So Brandon is very new to me. His writing style was very different. Definitely something I needed to get used to. The story was okay. He definitely gave me some people that I did not like. Like, it was definitely some unlikable characters in this book. It was only one character in there that I love, Steph, the mom. That was the only character that I liked. I didn't like the little girl, Harper. She was very delulu. She was very gullible. Her dad was very gullible, and he just put a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm just like, if men actually really think like him, ew. Like, ew. And men have to actually think like him. To me, I feel like if a man wrote this character, then that's how that's how they be thinking. I rated this book a 3 stars. Will I read some more about Brandon Massey? Yeah, probably in passing. I was asking about more book recs from him, and people were, I think they recommended The Landlord by him. However, one of my bookish friends was like, if you didn't like the dad and bad influence, then you're not gonna like the male main character in The Landlord, because he is just as stupid, just as gullible. And I'm like, oh my God. So yes, I gave the book a 3 stars. It was intriguing. Like, I read it consistently. But oh, and the lady, I forget her name, was it Gina or something? She kept on saying boo and kept on saying honey, and I was getting pissed off. I was like, if she say boo or honey one more time, I'm gonna DNF this book. But the story was good. I really just wanted to see how it was gonna end. And like I said, I read more of his books, but in passing. All right, so after I finished Bad Influence, I actually started another book. And when I started, it's a physical book, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But once I got into that book, it was good, but it was not as thrilling. And anytime I get into a book and it's not grasping me, and mind you, I give it 100 pages, right? And it's not really super exciting. Like, it's good, but it's super exciting, I start to read that book passively, and I have to find me something else before I fall into a book slump. So, because I have KU now, everybody has been raving about Octavia Grant. Like, on my Bookstagram, I've been seeing the Dear Vicky, and I'm like, y'all, I want to read it. It's a novella. I want to read it. Everybody's been saying it's unhinged. I want to read it. So, not only did I read Dear Vicky, I read Work Husband and Body Count. So 3 novellas back to back. If you follow my Bookstagram, then you already know, because I posted book reviews. Every time I finished the book, I posted a book review live in real time. And y'all, these books were so unhinged. Now, I went into these books, for one, I was basically doing an author taste test with Octavia Grant. And then for 2, because they were novellas, I did not want to rate them super hard and super strong. It was either I liked them or I didn't. And because I have a Goodreads, I like to put ratings in them. So if I really liked the book, I was just putting it a 5-star. Like, if it was good to me, it was a 5. But then if I didn't really care about it, then I wasn't rating them really at all, because they were novellas. But what I can say is, I named Octavia Hinged Grant, okay? And I made an entire reading vlog, reading those 3 books. So I'm not going to go into full detail. Let's just say my Octavia Grant's cherry has been popped. And please, please be ready to hear what I have to say about those 3 novellas in an upcoming reading vlog, because I did do an upcoming reading vlog with live reactions as I was reading the books. And y'all, it was a good unhinged time. Let's just say that. So the last physical book I read this month is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I picked this book up because, for one, I've been wanting to read this series for a very long time, and I just never put it in my cart. It was never an add to cart moment. It's always been sitting in my wish list, but I never bought it. And I just been wanting to read it. And so I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, okay, you're not buying the entire series at one time, because it can very well be you didn't like the first book and now you got the other 2 that you have to read because you spent money on them. So this is one of those series where I just bought book number 1 to see how do I like it. And then also I wanted to buy it because the Netflix series is coming. Like, by the time I post this video, it should actually be coming the day of or the next day. I know it's August 1st, and I don't know if I'm posting this August 1st or the last day of July. I don't know. I gotta look. But anyway, by the time this video is out, this series should be coming out on Netflix. And as always, we already know the book is always better than the TV series or the movie. So I wanted to read the book to prepare for the series. And it's actually something else that I wanted to watch with my baby girl. But y'all, this, and it's YA. It's YA, okay? So it is YA, and it's good, okay? Pip, she's that girl. I love what she is doing in the book. She's trying to solve a murder case, and it's good, but because it's YA, it's not pulling me in the way that I would want to be pulled in. It did not pull me in. Like, I wanted to be yanked and I wanted to read it straight through. This is the book that I was just referring to about reading passively, where I had to stop and go find me something else before I was put in a reading slump because I just wanted some more action. And so with that being said, I'm rating this book a 3.5 because yes, I think people should read it, but take into consideration it is a YA, so don't be super harsh on it. And being that it is a YA, take into consideration it's not going to be as thrilling as your adult thrillers because it's YA, they can't be so graphic, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm giving it a 3.5. If, and I mean strong, if I decide to read the rest of the series, it will literally be in passing. I don't see myself running to go buy book 2 and book 3 because I don't see myself doing it. It's a good read. It's very interesting, but it's not thrilling. So the last book that I read, and I'm actually still reading it now. By the time this video comes out, I will be then completed it, but I need to get this video recorded. And it's actually a memoir. It's JPac's book, Worthy, I think that's the title. Yes. And y'all, I put that book on hold the last day of December, and I literally just got it in July. Yes, so I've been on hold for 7 months on getting that book, and I wasn't mad about it because that's just not a book that I wanted to purchase. I have Wheels sitting on my bookshelf, and I don't really think I needed Jada's, but I don't give memoirs ratings, as you guys already know. However, I am really enjoying it. I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it enough to zoom through it. I am listening to it when I have time. So while I'm at the gym, while I'm working, while I'm cleaning up around the house, because the audiobook, I think it's like between 10 and 12 hours. I don't remember the exact hours, but it's pretty long, similar to Will's. His was long too. But what I do love about Jada's book is that a lot of stuff she's talking about is a lot of stuff I remember from being a child, like her relationship with her and Tupac. Like, I remember seeing that visually, like on the TV shows and all of that. What else? When she referenced a lot of stuff in LA, because obviously she went to Hollywood. I'm from LA, so a lot of that stuff is familiar to me, and I knew exactly what she was talking about, what time frame it was. She mentioned the death of Eazy-E. I remember exactly where I was when they announced that on the news. So a lot of stuff is just reminded me of those specific times when that stuff was happening. So I love it so much. I really didn't go into her memoir expecting anything. I just wanted to give her a chance and listen to what she got to say. As of now, I'm still waiting to see if she says anything about my boy August Alsina. I'm gonna keep it real as a dollar bill with you. I know a lot of people was waiting to see if she speaks about her and Will's relationship, and if she speaks about her and Tupac's relationship, which that's a big chunk of her life. Will's still her husband, and Tupac was a very significant person in her life, so that was a given. I already knew she was going to talk about that, but I'm still waiting to see if she gonna mention my boy. Because one thing I can say is I am an August Alsina stan, and being that he is so young, I felt like a lot of what went down in that relationship was her playing with my boy. Yep. Because personally, I feel like if you are married, go play with somebody else. Don't play with me. You know what I mean? Like, if you are married and you guys have whatever type of marriage you guys have, I don't know what type of marriage they have, but whatever type of marriage you guys have, whether an open marriage or y'all was having problems or whatever, and you got involved with somebody else, get involved with somebody who is going to respect that. Like, don't get involved with somebody who literally is going to have feelings for you. Because when you circle the block and you go back to your husband, because you will, when you circle the block and go back to your husband, you didn't play with somebody's heart. you know, you didn't put somebody else in a mix that really shouldn't have been there. So that's really what I'm waiting for. Other than that, I really didn't go into her book expecting anything. I just wanted to hear her story, especially because I rave about Will Smith a lot and I love his so much. I just wanted to see if what he said, you know, about how they met and how they got together, if it will be similar to what she said, or, you know, every story has two sides. So I just really wanted to see how their two stories compared. Other than that, I really don't have any expectations for her book besides just listening to it. I didn't mind the long wait because it's just one that I did not want to purchase. So that wraps up July. It was a really good reading month for me. What I can say is that Libby and KU have shifted my summer reading list that I got going on, and I need to be wheeled back in because I still have a stack of books that I want to read this summer that I've already talked to you guys about, and I want to put a big dent in those because I've been buying a lot of books and I don't want to continue to buy books and not read them. So me making a seasonal TBR, I just think it's the best way to get through my books. I'm gonna work really hard in August to get through my physical TBR and even the TBR that I created on Libby, because I do have some summer books that I have on my summer reading list, but they're not my physical copies. So yeah, that is all I read this month. Would I say I had a favorite? Yes, the Mixtape was my favorite book this month. Y'all let me know what your favorite book was this month. Let me know if you read any of the ones that I read, and let's just chat. How do you feel about my ratings? Let's just chat in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, peace out.